So now that we're almost out here, to kind of pick up where we last left off, the Sunsteel Syndicate, that's you, spent the day, after spending a day in the town of Novena Jahar for Empire Day, spent the day traveling toward Fendai Sholat. And along the way, you kind of saw a little bit more of the scenery, the farmland around, passed by a large plot of land fenced off private property of the ERFC, and came across a gnome that was working on some sort of automated farming contraption, which Varus just had to go over and talk to him and offer to sponsor his efforts. He became the first backer ever in the world of Andelavor, and has provided some funding for this gnome named Stilts. Also along the way, happened to come across a middle of a chase, a police chase, as it were. Some highwaymen apparently had stolen some of these very fast horses that were trying to get away, but the guards also had similar horses, and you happened to be in the path of these criminals, and I intercepted and aided in the apprehension of these criminals, and you were promised some recompense for that, which you collected in the city of Fendai Shalat. You guys got there in the evening, a city nestled within the canyon, very busy, very commerce and business central along this main busy road that goes through the canyon. A city of tall buildings and cable cars, and just a very kind of well-off looking environment in society. You spent the night at the Cariota Luxury Hotel, decided to live large for a few nights, made the most of a wonderful smorgasbord dinner of everything you could ever want, and also cleaned up at the bathhouse, and enjoyed a wonderful, restful night's sleep. Next morning, you rendezvoused with the contact from Aruda, a man named Asa, who gave Mallory the clue sufficient to find an intel package that would be available later in the evening, how to retrieve it, and at that point, after that, he left. And that's about where we pick up now. So you guys have just kind of left this place that was called The Tavern, capital T in both words, and are just kind of, you stepped outside along on the street, this main thoroughfare. The road is full of passersby, stagecoaches, horsemen that are moving up and down the street. You kind of gather together and have a few moments to discuss the implications of what you want to do. You've also got pretty much the rest of the day before that intel package would become available. So, Sunsteel Syndicate, what do you wish to do in these moments?
Okay, and Mallory already gave us the exact times of everything, right? Because we didn't understand any of that with him talking.
Yeah, I don't think Mallory's actually told you anything yet.
Okay.
She just understands what the details are, and just said that it's fine. I know what we're doing.
I'm gonna press her a little bit more. I know she's not here yet, but I'm going to press her a little bit more and be like, "No, I'm sorry, Mallory. That's just not good enough. We need to know exactly what we're dealing with here, what we're going into. So if you wouldn't mind, I'd appreciate you sharing with the class."
She looks around and finds herself in the middle of this busy street, and she says, "What, right now?"
You think we're any safer anywhere else?
There's literally a bunch of people just like walking all around. Probably better discuss somewhere at least where there's the illusion of safety.
Well then, in that case, let's head back to the room, shall we? We can talk there.
But we just got here. Weren't we here to like see some people and do some stuff?
Yeah, we saw the people. We did the stuff. Mallory's got the information that we need.
Wait,
And
from
then
that guy who was just talking about the food and he didn't tell us anything.
Well, apparently he told Mallory everything.
Mallory
so.
looks to you, nods, and says, "It's okay. I got it."
Oh, okay. So we're done here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
it would
Oh.
appear so.
And
All right.
you look around, and you guys are in the more political central part of town. You're still on the main street, the channel, but the buildings over here are more governmental. Except you do see like the temple that is a little ways away. The Ivory Hall is still further north along the road. And the people that are walking past are in kind of formal, like, suit, very business attire. Men and women alike. Although the women are more dressy than suit. But as you're kind of looking around the space, most of you actually notice that as you kind of look over back towards the street, leaning against one of the posts is kind of a younger woman, arrayed in very nice clothing, not like over the top, but just kind of like a stylish blouse, and is just kind of leaning with her arms folded, just kind of looking over in your direction, just kind of watching you. And as your attention notices her, one of her eyebrows kind of cock up.
Do we recognize her?
You've never seen this woman before. What you see is a probably 25 or so year old woman with more olive skin, a slightly different shade of the typical Othnian humans that you'd see. Hey, it's
Here,
Hello.
Mallory. You're
Sorry.
alive.
You said feel good, dresser.
It's all good. He was just catching us up on what happened last time, and
Oh, perfect.
we've spotted someone who appears to be watching us, and he's describing them.
yes.
Okay, perfect.
So leaning against the street lamp with her arms folded is this 25-year-old woman with more olive skin, which is not necessarily super common or typical of the normal Othnian people. Her hair she kind of has bangs on the front, but it's long, kind of pulled back with a clip. Has a few streaks of white shot through this dark brown auburn hair that's slightly wavy, kind of curling at the end. The clothing is very nice and stylish. She's wearing a dark blouse with a brighter undershirt showing through underneath. And it comes down to a skirt that comes down to just past her knees. But there's also this extra attachment of clothing, almost like a separate... Best way to describe it is almost like a mini skirt that is attached on top of the other skirt, but it's only like half of it, and it's rotated so that the long part is coming down down her right side. And there's several belt-like cords of beads and things that are kind of attached to this as well, and that's also kind of sloping down toward the right side. Underneath,
So like Esmeralda vibes a little bit,
maybe. I'm
like Roma people.
sure. Did you play Skyward Sword at all?
Not enough to know the reference.
Okay. But those of you know, it's more similar to what Zelda is wearing at the beginning of Skyward Sword.
Okay. Okay, I think I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
that's the best way that I can come up with to describe it. It looks more traditional. There's a kind of cultural type of thing going along with it, but it's kind of arranged off to the side, and then underneath looks like she's got some trousers with leggings and some boots, some high-heeled boots, and over the whole thing she has a very nice thin leather overcoat. The sleeves only come down to just past her elbows, and she's just kind of laying there, or kind of watching you guys. And then as your attention shifts over, you see her, and she cocks an eyebrow, kind of gives a smile, and walks over. And she says,
Wait. As she's kind of like getting over, I'm gonna just send a quick. How far? Like,
I'd say
is she from us?
probably 30 feet or so.
Okay, so not a ton of time. Never mind. Before she gets to us.
As she approaches and she walks and says, "First time in the city, huh?"
I wouldn't say that it's our first time in a city. No.
Really? Could have fooled me.
I'm from another city.
Would that be the capital by chance?
Yeah, that's where I'm from. I'm from Najak.
Aha.
What? I'm sorry, I'm Ignatz. What's your name?
I could tell by your accent. My name is Ryla.
Ryla. Okay. Nice to meet you.
You as well.
Like awkwardly put my hand out.
She takes it and shakes it. And she's, even with the heels, she's like average or slightly below average height. Most of you are taller than she is. And when she smiles, there's a slight dimple on the left side. And she says, "Well, pardon my intrusion, but you kind of caught my eye." And she kind of looks at you, Ignatz, in your shiny golden armor, kind of up and down, and Aelia in her armor as well. It's really glinting in the sunlight, as they say.
Thank you.
It's not for sale. So.
Oh, don't worry, I wasn't buying. I don't know what gave you that impression.
Well, look, if you're here for the armor, or if you're here for whatever we've got, I can assure you that we don't have a lot of extra valuables, if that's all you're looking for.
But we're very friendly.
I see that. Not all that much. No. Don't worry. I'm not interested in buying anything other than potentially your help. If you're required. Forgive me for implying too much, but I can tell just by a once-over from you that you might be able to... We might be able to have a little transaction if you're going to be sticking in town for a couple days or so.
Yeah, what could we do for you?
Hold up here. We don't know the first thing about you, but you seem to have picked us out of a crowd rather quickly. So, I would like perhaps a little bit more of an introduction, if you wouldn't mind. Ryla. Ryla. It's not exactly a lot to go off of, and if you forgive my paranoia, we can't exactly be trusting of people who come up to us in the city streets asking for help.
I
Oh, come now,
suppose.
Varus. We look like adventurers, don't we?
Well, I'd say that we need to be a little more cautious than just we look like adventurers.
And
You
that
know-
right there is
you know what we got
exactly
going.
the kind of attitude that just tells me that I think you're the ones that I'm looking for. But before we cross that bridge, this is your first time in the city, right? And she kind of looks down and looks toward the building, the Altorian Vanguard building, which is the building that's kind of the equivalent of what the New York Times would be. It is a company. It's actually more of a guild in the sense that it is prevalent enough throughout the whole empire. But this appears to be the actual headquarters, central building of the Altorian Vanguard. And the building itself has it's not built directly on the main street. It's kind of recessed back, and it has a plaza in front of it that connects with the rest of the street. And there you can see about a couple dozen people in similar suits that are congregating kind of in front of it. And you can just make out that at the front of the building there is a clock face that is inset above the main doors. And it's just it's almost 10 o'clock. And she says, well, if this is your first time in the city, this is probably a sight that you're going to want to see. They're about to feed the fish, and the fish are about to frenzy. And she begins walking over toward the building. It's on the other side of the street, but she's walking kind of perpendicular to it to get in a better perspective.
Okay, I'm gonna once she kind of leaves view for a second, I imagine she wants us to follow her. So, I'm gonna kind of turn to Mallory and I'm gonna shoot her a quick message, and I'm gonna be like, would you mind disappearing into the crowd for just a sec to watch our flank? Look, we've got too much going on with Nikolai to be flittering about with new people in this city. Would you mind just taking a poke around at the people that might be watching us as we engage with this Royla?
And I'll just nod and slink away.
Okay. Mallory, make a stealth check, please.
Sorry, my stuff is everywhere because I'm moving it.
That's how it goes.
21.
21. Okay. So, as opposed to hiding away from the eyesight of everyone, it's more about blending in. And as you've mastered that technique as well, you kind of detach away from the rest of the party and pull your hood down. It seems that having the hood up would be more conspicuous at this point, but you're able to keep your head down and kind of blend in a little bit with the rest of the group, move with the flow of traffic, and only a few minutes pass before the rest of your party loses track of you. Ignatz and Varys, Mallory seems to have done what she's really good at, and you've lost track of her.
Cool. Yeah, now that she's gone and she's kind of with the crowd, I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable to go and engage with Ryla. So I'll approach now and kind of signal to the rest to, okay, let's go.
Okay.
And Aelia is with us?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. So the three of you walk kind of up toward Ryla, and she has her arms folded again, and she just kind of points at the plaza again. Just watch. A couple minutes is all. And in these moments, Mallory, you are asked to try to keep an eye along, protect the flank. Make a perception check, please.
$26.
Nice.
Yeah.
All of the people that are in this part of town that are walking by are finely dressed, very official looking, and they all seem really intent on their business. But you do notice that the group that has been congregating in this plaza of the Altorian Vanguard is gathering, and there seems to be a sense of building anticipation. everybody who's walking past seems to be really focused on their own business, and most people only give the three of them passing glances, especially when it comes to armor and stuff. Typically the only people that you see are the rare adventurer on the way to the Ivory Hall, or some guards that are passing through. But in this instance, most people seem to take notice, but don't really bat more than an eye at it. Right about at this point, I need to upload it to the drive. I meant to do this before. But at this point, as you're kind of watching, the bell begins tolling from within the Saltorian Vanguard Tower as the clock strikes 10 o'clock. And as it's ringing, the people who have gathered in the plaza kind of wake up to a new set of urgency. The anticipation seems that they've been waiting, and they kind of form up into this gaggle off to the side of the plaza. As you're watching, there are several doors that go up into the Altorian Vanguard building, but there's a large, almost garage door type, kind of toward the side, that opens up, and you see some workers come calling out with this trolley full of papers, it seems. And as they get closer to the gaggle, the workers begin distributing parcels of these papers. And there's money transacted, and as soon as these people have these packages of these newspapers in hand, they immediately begin rushing off. Some just running down through the street, some run to open wagons that are hitched to their horses, start loading them up, and begin moving out. One of the men in the suit kind of walks over just a little bit, where there's probably a dozen or so teenage boys that are ready, and he begins handing out and distributing packages to these teenage boys. And as they begin, and then these boys begin running about and start shouting headlines.
Are they singing "Seize the Day" as they do it?
They are not.
Are they doing a little dance number?
The thought did cross my mind, but no.
Slow backflip.
Is there? Yeah. Is Christian Bale one of the boys?
No. It is very newsy, but no. And they begin calling headlines. And as they begin calling the headlines, you start hearing what they're saying. You hear one of the boys begin running down through the streets shouting, "Rebels ambush! Hundreds dead! Empire strikes back!"
Amazing.
Empire vows vengeance!
I hope that was intentional.
As I was saying, I'm like, well, it's not quite what they're saying. But
Empire strikes back.
Did you see like a little copyright logo just appear on all of them?
They're all like, really? They put this in the headline?
But
it's my favorite play.
The headlines start being shouted, and as the newsboys are running through the street, those passersby who are walking kind of slow from their busy gait, kind of stop and listen to hear what the headlines are, and then continue in hushed conversation. One of the boys comes running past in your direction, selling papers to those that come out. Only sees a few copper pieces, and there's one heading right that you'd be able to intercept if you would like to.
Yeah, I'll kind of like nod to Ignatz and be like, "Would you grab that?" Yeah.
Grab one?
Yeah, just grab one of those if you wouldn't mind.
I reach out and just grab a kid
Okay,
who's running by.
you do so.
Hey. And then I turn to Varys. I got one.
You just like, pick it up.
Like a person. I'm just like holding him by the arm. I got
Do you-
one.
Okay. I just meant the newspaper. Sorry, kid.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh.
Um,
Oh, hey. How much?
It's like, you want paper? It's only 5 stones.
just you know, I got the. Here you go.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna hand the kid 5 stones. Just like, okay. Hey,
I released the kid. Sorry, bud. My bad.
It's all right. Happens all the time. And he pockets the 5 copper pieces, puts it into a little pouch that he tucks inside his pocket, and hands you the paper. And if you want to go to the Google Drive, the D&D folder, there's an image there that I just uploaded titled Altorian Vanguard.
okay. Give me 1 sec. I'm pulling up the drive.
Is it just in the D&D folder, or
Yeah.
is there like a subfolder?
It should just be in the D&D folder. I don't think I put it in a subfolder.
What was it called? Oh, Altorian Vanguard.
There it is.
There it is. Oh, oh wow! It looks like a whole newspaper and everything. Wait, can we get
Lorem
that?
ipsum.
Wait, I'm gonna
kidding.
screen share this so we can.
Oh, it's gonna mess up with my overlay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here, I will drop mine down.
Yeah, we can just all pull it up.
Okay. I just wanted to show everyone at home.
Well, I've got it
Okay.
on the
Oh, that's
recording.
fair.
I've got it on the recording.
Oh, you
okay.
do. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
I'm sorry. My bad.
You're good. Thanks for being proactive, though.
Okay. I'm just gonna take a read. Why can't I zoom in? There we go.
While Varys while Varys and Ilea are reading the paper, Ignatz kind of like sidles over to what was her name? Rylia? Ryla. Sidles over to Ryla and says, "Hey, you said there were gonna be fish?"
She kind of looks up and down and says, Are you being serious?
Yeah, you said that they were gonna feed the fish, and
Oh,
I was confused because I don't see a lot of water around here.
She kind of looks back at Mallory and says, okay, he's
Well, she's not with us.
Oh yeah, Mallory's not with you guys, right?
Unfortunately,
yeah.
I am hidden in the crowd.
That's right.
Right. Says,
Ilea and
I'm a
Varys.
ghost.
So she says, okay, I understand. No, that was just that was a phrase. That was a figure of speech. See, sometimes when you feed the fish, like when you feed real fish, like a pond, sometimes they go crazy. And I was drawing
I've seen that.
Yeah, okay. So I was drawing a comparison to the fish being the people that distribute the newspapers. That's like the newspapers, kind of like the food. They're kind of like the fish.
Got it. But you don't eat the newspaper.
No, I wouldn't recommend it. It's not very tasty.
People like reading it. Okay. Thanks for explaining that. You're pretty smart.
Yeah. And she kind of looks over at the headline and says, well, it's a little sensationalized, but that's kind of how they do things. Really, it can't be more than 50, but even still.
Have you seen it?
Seen what?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
Oh, the headline. There's
Right.
the rebels. They attacked again. Apparently it was one of the more devastating things that they've done in the last year.
Here in the city?
No, this is all the way up in South Z.
Oh, okay.
While you're kind of
Have we
reading
heard
this,
anything about rebels up there?
Varys, Ilea just kind of looks over to you and whispers and says, this is the kind of place that we're heading towards.
I like your other articles as well. First thing I saw on the Shen Dynasty celebrates 167 years is Hallkirk's succulent meats.
Yep.
Yep, brilliant.
Halkirk?
Hallkirk, he's in the news.
Really? Good for him. Oh, yep, there it is.
There it is. Yep,
That's
good for
amazing.
Hallkirk. I know that guy.
Yeah.
Well, once I finish reading the newspaper, I'm gonna kind of saunter over to the rest.
And this picture is just the front page. There's more that I didn't write up, but there is
Okay.
more information in the packet besides what's on this picture.
I like how you also have the matches
Of
all
course.
in there. That's great. That's just, what a great detail. Okay. Oh wait, is this important? Sorry, I'm reading the other one. Dozens arrested. Anyway, well, okay, I'll read that in a second. So once I kind of read the main headline, I'm gonna kind of fold up the newspaper a little bit and walk over to Ryla, and I'll say, I'm not exactly sure what you need from us regarding an insurgency, or if you're just trying to make us aware that there are rebels about.
No, it was just more the fact that they only distribute these papers once every 2 days, apart from weekends. So
I see.
it's. I just think it's really funny and entertaining to see a bunch of grown men scramble over pieces of paper, try to be the ones to sell the most. I don't know. Just kind of funny
I
to me.
lean over to Varys and I say, like fish.
Like fish.
Hmm.
Well, it certainly is. There certainly is some interesting news in the capital, isn't there?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's there's lots of and it seems like she already knew what the headline was going to be. Like, she's not anywhere reacting the same way that the rest of the people are. And she says, "Yeah, I mean, it's really the only way. We all think that it's the conflict. Oh, it's all the way over in South Z. It's far away. We're safe where we are, but if people just even look back 50 years, 100 years, it wasn't like that before."
Wow.
What happened before?
Well, there's lots of wars and conflict as the empire consolidated and expanded, and seems like the Shen dynasty finally has grown content with how things are as far as expansion is concerned anyway. But those rebels in South Z have been giving them a hard time for almost as old as I am now, 20 years, 25 years.
What do the rebels want?
Nah. There's a bunch of different factions. Some of them just don't like the thought of being ruled by an empress. Some have problems with the fact that she's a tiefling.
Hmm.
Some seem more religious, I suppose. Yeah, bunch of random cells and factions out there that just kind of want to see the world burn.
It doesn't matter what the rebels what their beliefs are. All they're doing is sowing chaos. They're not even beginning to go about things the right way. I don't care what your political beliefs are. At the very least, the Empire has brought some stability, some order to things. And if you plan on changing that, well, then you best have a better darn good reason for it, and you best have a better plan before you just go out there killing people and terrorist attacks. That's not going to get you. It's frankly, it pisses me off to hear about these rebel groups. How do you think people are supposed to join you if all you're offering is more chaos and destruction? You're not bringing anybody to
Sound
your
like some pretty bad folks.
They tend to attract people that are already maladjusted. And I don't know. It's been going on for a long time, and at this point, and she kind of taps the paper, implying that there's more on the inside, and she says, "There's actually several groups that are wondering whether it's even worth the fighting to continue, because at this point, both sides are intransigent. But I don't know. It's kind of fascinating."
Certainly
Ignatz
the
is just
Empire.
nodding knowingly, though he doesn't know about half of the words she just used. Just, yeah.
Well, certainly the Empire can last a lot longer than some rebel cells.
I certainly think so.
I would certainly hope so.
But just this dynasty is coming up on 200 years, which is impressive. But anyway.
Anyways. Always murder and chaos out there. People who like to sow destruction for no reason in their own giddy, I suppose.
Speaking
I was
of
gonna say.
murder, she kind of
There it
smiles
is.
again and says, "What? I can go over the details a little bit later. Seems like you have things that you want to do, and sights to see. But if you wish to meet up again this evening, talk a little business." And she reaches into her leather cloak and pulls out a small booklet, opens it, and kind of untucks a purple feather that she had behind her ear, which I forgot to mention. She takes out, opens it up, and flips over and says, "So I'm trying to do an investigation of sorts, and feel like perhaps you might be able to assist me." And at this point, she looks around and says, "Huh, I think definitely you would be able to help me." And she's very obviously looking around for Mallory. Doesn't seem to find her in the crowd, and says,
Say I'm too good.
I think you stuck out to me for a reason. Yeah, I think you'll be able to help me with a little covert investigating, as
Wow.
they say."
Well, Ryla, I think we'd love to help you. That sounds great.
I'm just gonna kind of put a hand on Ignatz and say, we're not gonna promise anything just yet.
Yeah, of course. Wait until you hear what I have to offer. I think you'll find it interesting.
I personally pride myself on being a pretty good judge of character, so I think. But yeah, okay, that's fine.
She opens her notebook and says, "So, a couple, I guess a week ago at this point, there were a couple murders that happened here in the city. Usually it's nothing too notable, kind of crime, kind of happens everywhere, no matter where you are. And the Palisade seemed to wrap up their investigation pretty quickly. They found the guy. But, I don't know, there's just something strange about the way the things worked out." And she begins kind of like flipping through some of her notebook and looking at notes and stuff and things that she's written. So yeah, apparently this guy, according to the Palisade at least, murdered two of his flatmates. And witnesses, like neighbors, say that they saw him there, but the man insists that he was on the other side of town when it happened. But for whatever reason, the Palisade didn't seem to take him very seriously. After all, they found him returning to the scene of the crime, as they say, and he looked like he'd been. They found blood on him. Looked like he was pretty beaten up, And so they saw him based off witness statements. They assumed that he was the guy, returned to the scene of the crime. They arrested him immediately despite his claims, saying that he's set up or whatever. And people claim that all the time when they're arrested, but I don't know, something about these, what I've been able to glean so far. She kind of leans in closely, kind of looks around kind of conspicuously and says, I think there might be a pod of doppelgangers here in the city. And I would like to be the one to find that. And so I would need some outside help from people who look like they know what they're doing.
What's your stake in this? Are you a private investigator? Are you family of the accused?
No.
What's your...
Well, I do have a vested interest. It is kind of my job. I write for the Vanguard.
I see. So you're a journalist then?
Yes, an investigative journalist.
I see.
Fancy.
Well, Miss Ryler. First of all, what you have just insinuated is that there is one or more creatures capable of looking like any other creature roaming about in a city with thousands, tens of thousands of people.
Yeah. Isn't it exciting?
And where do you suppose we even begin such a search? You're looking at months, if not maybe over years worth of searching just to try to lock down such a critter.
Not necessarily. I've been doing some research. It is, after all, my job. And if you're interested, I have some leads that I think would be good to go over with you. If you're interested.
Well,
Ilea at this point kind of whispers, I guess to Ignatz, you'd be closest, and says, we've met a shapeshifter before, haven't we?
The one that was trying to run away from the Lyco house? Or was that someone else?
There's that one, but back in Sokoru.
Oh, the one that... Wait.
We fought him.
Was that the one that was... I'm trying to remember. Was someone, like, impersonating the Surin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was impersonating
Sure. Oh,
Lyco.
yeah.
And
Yeah, that's right.
You fought him in the lumber mills.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yep, I remember now. Oh, yeah, that guy. Okay. I say a little bit too loud.
Ryla says, wait, so are you saying, did I read into that a little bit too much?
Ignatz, like, crosses his arms and looks all proud of himself. Like, we may have some experience dealing with shapeshifters.
Really?
I'm just gonna kind of
Ourselves.
I'm just sitting there just rubbing my forehead like, oh my gosh.
She gets a nice big toothy grin, a dimple showing, and says, I had a good feeling about coming to this part of town today. I think you're
You got
exactly
good
the ones
instincts.
that I'm looking for. Now listen, as far as payment goes, I don't have a lot.
Is that ever not the case?
That's true. I only get paid every time I put in an article, and it only depends on how well the editors think that the papers will sell with my article in it that they pay me. I'm trying to work my way up to get a better position, but we can talk a little bit about that later this evening, if this is something that you're interested in helping me with.
I have something that we might ask of you instead of monetary payment
Shoot.
to think over. Perhaps you write one more article along with this one. Okay? You put it out there about a certain conspirator against the Empire. Someone who's been on the hunt to take down the Empire, and you just happened to get some information about such a person, and you leaked it to the proper authorities, and you put it in your paper. Get them on the lookout for such a person.
You're saying you caught wind of something?
I'm saying that we might know somebody who is a threat to the Empire, and it would be very nice to have his image out in the world.
Unless I'm mistaken, it feels like you're paying me more than I'm getting. You know what? If that's really important to you, we can talk about this a little bit more. I'd be curious to know what information that you have, and if I think that there's enough there that I can maybe write another piece, then we'll talk.
Splendid.
Excellent.
Well, where do we meet you?
Well, let's see. Probably best if you come to my apartment. That's where all my notes and things are. And she takes her notebook, rips out a piece of paper, scribbles something with her quill, tucks it back behind her ear, and she hands it to you, Varys. And it just looks like an address, an apartment building. Looks like, I'm kind of busy for the next few hours, but in the afternoon through the evening, I'll be home.
Okay. Splendid.
Right then.
Hey, so these whatchamacallits, these shapeshifter types are pretty dangerous, right?
They definitely can be. And again, looks over you. I think you'll be okay. I have some precautions that I've been taking. Best that we keep this, of course, on the down low. You never know who's going to be. Frankly, I'm still not even 100% certain that there are doppelgangers. It's more of a hunch at this point. But if there are, the less they know, the better.
Indeed.
Fair enough. Well, if you're feeling threatened at all, you're welcome to stay with us. Just for a while.
Thank you for the offer.
We were gonna head over to the Ivory Hall, I think. Or that's what I was thinking. We hadn't talked about it yet, but I was thinking we'd go check in with the other adventurers here in the city, and
as soon as you mention the Ivory Hall, she kind of grabs your forearm, like your elbow, and says, "Make sure you do not speak of this at all to anyone there in the guild. All right?
Okay.
Don't mention anything about doppelgangers or shapeshifters, because if they catch wind of this, they're going to start putting out contracts, and then the trail might go cold. I need to be the one to figure this out before anyone else.
Okay.
Now,
We'll keep it quiet.
can you repeat back to me what I said?"
Not word for word, but you don't want us to tell anybody there about doppelgangers.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. I got that.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
That wasn't a metaphor, right?
No,
That was just straight
I was
shooting.
being
Okay.
extremely literal that time.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I'm on the level. We're good.
Okay. Good.
Like, I'm not stupid. I may be a little dumb, but
Yeah, I get the distinction. No worries.
cool.
Right, and it was Varys. No, I heard somebody say Varys. You're Ignatz.
I'm Ignatz, yes. Nice to meet you.
And you must be Varys then.
Yes.
Okay. And you are? And Aliyah says, I'm Aliyah. And shakes hands. Says, good. Well then, sometime this afternoon, this evening, stop by. I'll be expecting you.
Okay.
Yeah. Look forward to it.
Right then.
We might just see you then.
And then she does the thing where she kind of like takes a few steps backwards, kind of nodding, and then swivels on her heels, and then walks northward along the channel.
Okay. Well,
Ignatz watches her go.
I do not see Mallory, but once she's kind of gone, I'm gonna give the kind of signal, like, yeah, okay, like, come back.
Excellent.
And
And I
Mallory,
just-
it's
I just
probably
kinda
very
hope-
obvious to you.
I just
Sorry,
kind of
real
hope
quick.
she saw it.
Yeah, so Mallory, you notice that Ignatz's mannerisms, he's obviously smitten. You haven't seen him look at anybody like that since Mercedes.
Got it.
Does Mallory find us?
Yeah, Mallory
If I
knows
thought-
where you are. You don't know where Mallory is, so
I just appear.
eventually Mallory just kind of appears amongst the crowds, the throngs.
Well, did you see anything? Did you find anything out there?
Not really.
No.
Other than a lot of newspapers, everything looks weirdly okay.
That's a bit suspicious in and out of itself.
Pretty much.
Well, we just got word that there might be some doppelgangers here.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Look, I think that our first order of business, before we do anything else, is that we need to make sure that we lock in this group. We need a safe word, okay? That only we
Mhm.
know, that we don't say to anyone, okay? Other than each other. Alright?
Oh yeah, good point. Mel, can you prove your Mallory real quick?
I just kind of look at you and say, would you even be sure if I did?
Yeah, like you know our signals and stuff.
I mean, fair enough. I'm very shocked and surprised that you thought of this. Because normally you
Well,
just
I mean,
trust me.
yeah, but like you just walked up to us out of nowhere when we were talking about doppelgangers. But I mean, also if you say it's you, it's probably you. So.
It's, I mean, it is, but also like I'll do like a little whistle, and kind of look at you like, is that good?
Yeah, it's her. It's you. I give you a little fist bump.
Okay.
I glance back over my shoulder. Like, that Ryla lady seems pretty nice.
Yeah. Alright. Anyway.
I kind of like elbow you a little bit and go, ooh.
And I just like give a big grin. I'm like, hey, today's a good day. You know, it's a good day. We're gonna.
Yeah.
We talked to some people. We learned some stuff. We saw some fish that weren't really fish. There's an adventurers guild, like Ivory Tower thing over there. We could go see. They might have some cool stuff for us. We could learn about the other goings on here in the city, and then we're gonna see Ryla again later. It's a good day.
Uh-huh. Alright. See, I was of the opinion that today was a good day, but also bore with it a lot of risk, considering the fact that we just found out that there's doppelgangers, a possible connection to our good old friend Nikolai. That doesn't strike me as good news.
Yeah. Wait, they're connected to Nikolai?
No, not that we know of. Okay.
Oh.
But we know that
Okay.
Nikolai is on the loose, and now some doppelgangers, which could be tied to an assassin organization, right? I mean, doppelgangers are kind of known for that sort of thing. So they could be tied to any sort of assassin organization. They're on the loose in the city, and we might go find them. So,
Okay.
I'm glad that you're optimistic. Really, really inspired by that. So about our signal, we all need to know it. Okay.
You guys are still
Please.
just kind of standing in the street. I mean, it's not that weird
Yeah,
that
do
you're
you wanna,
standing in the
like-
group, because there are other people that will stop and converse. But you are still just out in the open.
Yeah. So we
Do
need
you
to
want to
come up
send
with
us a message with whatever you want us to remember, and then
Yeah,
then
well,
that'll be it?
Like I said, I think that we need to get back to a private place, okay? Because Mallory also has to debrief us.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of information that we need to go over still. So why don't we head back? Let's head back to the hotel, okay? Before we go anywhere else, let's
Yeah.
debrief. Let's set up our signals, and let's make sure
the,
that we're all on the same page going forward, okay?
Well, the ivory tower's right there. You want to like stop there before we go back?
No,
Save us a trip?
no,
No.
no. We cannot risk being away or any time away from each other.
Yeah, we'll
'Cause
just all
what
go
happens-
together.
Well, yeah, we go together. We'll lose sight of one person. Okay. Next thing you know, boom, doppelgangers in our party. Okay, they've taken over one of us. Who's to say that they weren't watching this whole interaction? Who's to say they don't now know that we're on to them? Right? They could
Okay.
now be hunting us
Okay.
at the same time. And if we go anywhere else other than straight home to get our group together and on the same page, we'll lose out on the opportunity to lock in us four. Okay?
So you're saying there's something that you can do back there that you can't do here, that'll help us all be
Yeah,
sure
I'm
that
saying
we're good?
that we're all on the same page. Yes. Okay?
All right.
I'm saying that we need
I'll
to go
follow
somewhere.
you.
I'm saying we need to go somewhere private. Okay, and just talk this out for a minute. Okay.
Okay. I'll follow
And
you.
then we can move from there.
By the way, for
Okay.
those of you who have music, we're on track 4.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, that changes the tone.
I forgot to tell you, I changed it on the recording, but I did not tell you guys.
Okay, yeah.
So as you guys swivel and begin heading south back toward the Caryota, Ilea just kind of gives out a sigh and says, I was looking forward to having some time on the city, but I guess these things just have a knack of finding us, huh?
I certainly do,
I
don't
guess
they?
so.
And then she looks down at herself and kind of moves her hair and says, I guess we do stick out a bit, don't we?
I
Oh,
suppose so.
what do you mean? You look great.
Oh, no thank you. 60
Well,
years
yeah.
considering.
But hey, look on the bright side. We got some good stuff to look forward to.
She just kind of pats you on the shoulder and gives a knowing smile. And you guys are pretty deep into Fendai The fastest way would be hopping on another stagecoach bus.
Okay.
Okay.
And if we're gonna, so from here on, before we get back to the place, I want to make sure that we all kind of keep an eye on each other. Nobody leaves the eye contact of any two more of us until we get back to the apartment.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Also,
We all link arms.
Yes. We all link arms and we walk down, arms linked together.
yes.
We do the Wizard of Oz skip back to the stagecoach station.
Absolutely.
Ignat's hop is slightly higher than the rest of you. And so do you hop on a stagecoach bus?
Yeah,
Go back?
we'll take the stagecoach bus. How much
Okay.
is that?
I think I said it was a silver per person.
1 silver per person.
1 diner.
Okay. I will once again hand them 40 copper.
Okay.
Not because I'm trying to be annoying, but because I don't have any silver.
I understand. In this
I got it
instance, I
covered.
need you to make just a flat charisma check.
I've got some diners if you want to trade.
I said what I said. Well, okay, so I rolled a 17. Do I add my charisma modifier to that?
Yeah, just a flat charisma roll.
Okay, so that's a 22.
Okay. You luckily found one that had just recently changed out all of their copper stones, and so they're not
Nice.
super annoyed with you when you
Okay.
get back on.
Good deal.
But you hop on. It only takes you 25-30 minutes to get back to the Caryota Hotel. You check back in, go back up to your rooms, find everything as you left it. I'm assuming you didn't. You left the do not disturb
Yeah.
sticker on the thing, and from a passing glance, everything looks exactly as you left it, and you're back in the luxurious rooms.
Okay. Now that we're here, and now I'm going to switch to message, and I'm just going to talk to them via message in their minds for the next little bit.
Okay.
Um,
Because of the way how message works, you can only do it one at a time.
Yes. So I will just...
It's going to take double or triply as long to carry out this conversation, just so you're aware.
I'm aware. It's going to be brief anyway, because
Okay.
all I'm going to be saying is, okay, so we're going to establish a safe word, okay, and a safe gesture, okay,
Like a password.
like a password, okay.
Okay.
Remember this password. It is vitally important that you remember this password, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay. Let me think of a password.
Aaliyah says,
Okay, I can remember that.
"It's vitally important that you remember this password."
Okay.
That's what you said the password was.
No, that's not the password. No.
Oh, right.
Okay. Ooh.
Ignat starts
Okay,
to kind of
okay.
look around the room.
You see
I just want to look and see if there's anybody hiding in here, just for fun.
Yeah, make a perception check.
Natural 20.
Okay. You notice some of the paintings that you didn't really notice before, but in light of your current disposition, just seem like, wow, those are some really pretty paintings. The bed sheets are exactly as you left them. The only thing that's different is somebody must have come by and taken away the food tray at some point in the early morning, because that wasn't there when you left, and it's still not there when you come back. Yeah, everything looks
Untouched.
exactly as you remember, untouched.
Great. Okay. No feet sticking out from behind the curtain.
Nope.
Okay, cool.
In fact,
Okay.
you guys haven't opened the curtains at all since you've been there. So, and those ruffles
Okay, cool.
still seem as they were the night before.
Okay. The password is kebabs. In honor of Hal Cook. Kebab.
Kebab.
Okay.
Kebab. That is the password.
All right.
Okay. So, remember that password.
Kebab.
I'm writing it down so I don't forget the password.
Word.
Because that would be
I
really
considered
awkward.
not writing it down just to simulate Ignaz's brain. But then I decided that would probably cause too much problems if he actually forgot. So
Aaliyah says, "See, the key is linking. So kebabs, Halkirk, our friend."
Mhm.
okay.
Okay.
So
Friends?
to check if the rest of us are good, you send us a message and we'll tell you in
And
your
you
head.
say, you'll say kebab. Okay.
And to check
Now,
if you're good, we'll ask
if you
you for the
don't-
password and you send it to a message in our heads.
Exactly. And if I can't send you a
Okay.
message, it's not me. Okay?
Then I punch you.
Then you punch me in the face. Okay?
Okay. I'll give it a couple seconds just to
Right. Give me
Make
a
sure.
second to think about it, okay? But if
Yeah,
I can't
yeah,
send you
yeah.
a message,
I got you.
don't just ask the question and then punch me in the face, okay? That's not
So I'll hold back my fist. What's the password? Not like that.
not like that. No.
Not like okay, yeah, I could do that. Okay.
And if anything, maybe you should try to go for the grab first. Okay, try to
Oh
lock,
no, I
lock the
yeah.
person down.
If stuff goes down, I know how to handle that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Great. Okay. Okay,
So-
everybody on
Come
the
on,
same
it's
page.
me we're talking about.
So here's a question. What do you think we do if it turns out that one of us is actually a doppelganger?
Like already or
Already?
No, not right now.
in
I
the
mean,
future?
Yeah, what do we do in the event that our password actually rats one of them out?
Then we capture them. We interrogate them, and we find where they've taken us, where they've exchanged us, and then we bring them in.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just a little
Granted-
wary about attacking people that something that looks like a normal person in the middle of the street. I suppose that since we're members of the Ivory Hall, there are like some protections there, but I feel like that might not be what Ryla's actually wanting us to do.
Right. Well, we're not just gonna be going up against everybody. Right. We need to take this slowly, and we need to try and identify them first, not just going through the streets. Okay.
Right.
So.
Hey, Varus.
Yeah.
Send me a message real quick.
Okay. I'll send him a message, and I will just say, "I'm sending you a message."
I had an idea. It might be a good one.
Okay.
We didn't choose a password with Ryla, right?
No.
And if she's in trouble and her safeguards don't work, we meet up with her later. Might be that the one we meet up with is a doppelganger.
Uh-huh.
So what you could do is you could send her a message and say, "Hey, what's the password?" And then if she makes something up or goes hostile, then we know that she's a doppelganger. And if she says we didn't choose one, then we'll know that it's her.
Okay. Well, I see, yeah. That's a good idea. Ignatz,
This reminds me of a game I played as a kid. So
that was a good idea.
yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, and with that, I'll say, okay, now that we've got that out of the way, Mallory, I believe you have some debriefing for us.
Yeah. So this was the 15 minutes that you were not present.
Oh yeah, I do.
Varus asked you to the information that you got from Asa.
Yes, I remember that. And I will pass it all on. But well, I'll give you a rundown because it was actually quite a bit.
Okay.
I'll basically just
Silently
tell you
to
guys.
Varus. Or just out
Probably to
loud?
all of us, yeah.
Okay.
There's gonna be a drop point that's accessible at the end of tonight, closer to where we're staying, hidden within some other material. So we'll be able to find it. We'll have to lockpick it, but it'll be marked, and then the information will be hidden inside like the mailbox with
The mailbox.
other things.
Okay.
But-
That is so crazy that you were able to get that from his conversation about marmalade pancakes. Like, I was just getting hungry. I had no idea that's what he was talking about. That is so cool.
It definitely takes some learning.
You got some awesome skills, Mel. I don't know if I tell you that often enough.
Thanks.
Okay. So, drop point tonight. Meeting with Ryla tonight. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Those are kind of our two main things to go on tonight. Ignatz, are you grinning?
Yep.
Splendid. Okay.
Big old smile on my face. Look totally stupid.
Okay. Alright, well, now that we've at least locked that down, I think we can go about any other business that we want to get done today. I know this was a bit of a headache to come all the way back here, but I think it was important to do this first before we ran into any potential complications. So,
It's all right.
At
You
least
guys
we
are the
didn't have
brains,
to walk
so-
the whole time. I really appreciate these
these little
wagons
taxis.
that they have. It's pretty
Wagons.
nice.
Yeah, we do.
Kind of
Wagon.
reminds me of the trains in Najak, except these are way cheaper. I think.
Yeah, a little bit cheap. Yeah, they are cheaper. Okay.
Excuse me.
Well, why don't we head back to... We can head to the guild hall now. Okay.
Sweet.
Okay.
I think they have.
we were just at.
Well, it is. I suppose. I suppose we could break for lunch.
It is just about lunchtime. There's a lot of places that we're passing along the way. Like maybe we just train it there. We've got time to kill.
Okay.
yeah,
okay.
and all this talk about food has me hungry.
Okay. And at this point, we're going to switch back to track 1.
Amazing.
There you go. So by the time this conversation is over, it is nearly 12 o'clock, in time for lunch. There's plenty of food places to stop along the way of all sorts of varieties. You've passed by a bunch of different bakeries, some diners, and a few other taverns that are along the channel that seem to be busy no matter what the time of day is. Some of the places that you've passed even have plots of land set aside for people to hitch their horses and leave their wagons and things. It's the primitive form of parking lots here in the city. And you saw plenty of different stores and things that might catch your attention. In particular, some like strike ball memorabilia. After seeing the match scores in the paper, those scores they're not the regular season yet. These are still preseason. And just it's like when you see something that you really like and you see it, you catch a glimpse of it, and it's like, oh yeah, and then it kind of begins to compete for space in your brain. You saw plenty of memorabilia stores. There are some that were like dedicated to the Foundry Table racers, but
Boo.
boo.
Ooh.
But there are other stores that you would likely be able to find other memorabilia, including things like what the schedule is, who plays what and when. Clothing shops. Let me pull up my
We all get
document.
jerseys. We become like we get matching jerseys and we just make that our Sunsteel Syndicate logos.
Right.
That's amazing.
Oh yeah, so as we're kind of getting ready, Ilea takes that brochure that was on the dining room table of like all the things to do in Foundry Table. Most of it is commercial. There are some hikes and tours that you can take the cable cars up to the North Ridge, and there's a couple hikes up on the mountain, the mountain that is called Mount Vutal. And yeah, clothing shops, general stores, art supply. You pass by a music store. One that looked like there was a watchmaker that was up there.
Wait, they have a watchmaker?
That you passed by. And then the rest is just kind of... the only other thing that's kind of in that brochure is... there's a whole section on horse racing, on the Derby. Foundry Table is known for its horse racing.
Fair enough.
You didn't really see them.
Participated in one of those on the way in.
Kind of, actually, yeah. And then you start seeing this, and it starts to make sense, like why those horses that looked different and why somebody might feel they want to steal them. They're pretty valuable. But you haven't really seen, because most of the grounds are on the northern side, the other side of the canyon. But it turns out that there is a thing called the questing, and it's kind of like this world's version of the Triple Crown. 6 races that happen once every month, beginning in Tarsak. So it's still a couple months away. unfortunately. But every weekend they have normal derby races that people go to bet on, and it's kind of the entry level for those who are trying to get into the questing. Unfortunately, the weekend just happened, so there's no races that in the next few days. But you'd be able to see the track. The questing consists of 3 just normal derby races where they go around 1 lap, and then there's a cross-country race. There's 3 of those where it's more of the off-roading type of races, which are a little bit longer, more marathon-esque, I would suppose. But those happen here in Foundry Table and is the namesake for the local strikeball team.
Well, if we ever want to quit our day jobs, we can become a race crew.
Really?
No, ignorance.
Oh, okay. We could probably be pretty good at it.
Yeah, I suppose maybe. Only if they allow for cheating.
So yeah,
What?
there's
We don't
lots
need to do
of
that.
there's lots of options to do in this downtime that you have. If there's something else specific that you're looking for, I want to do, then let me know.
I wanna take a look at the watchmaker.
That
Okay.
checks out.
Yeah.
And I want to get to the guild hall to see, because they sell magic items and stuff to adventurers, right?
Mostly potions.
Mostly potions? Okay.
Yeah. A little less on the way of magical items. It kind of depends. You might have better luck finding like simple enchantment things in a guild hall in a place like Foundry Table. But that might be something to inquire about.
Oh, that's right.
when you're there.
The Iridescent Prism has their own shop of
Yeah.
magic items back in
Yeah.
Najak. That's right. Okay. Okay, I'll just kind of keep my eye out for a shop like that, because I think they have neat trinkets
Mhm.
and cool things.
Cool.
So just on our way.
Okay.
Are you guys gonna come with me to the watch shop?
Yeah, we're not splitting up if we can help it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure.
And you can kind of get
We'll
along
grab
the
lunch
way.
on our way.
Yeah, so
We'll grab
the
lunch.
order here would probably be lunch,
Lunch.
and then kind of you get into the more retail businesses. You stop along the way there to the watchmaker, which was called Saron.
Sauron. Sauron.
Almost. Seron. And then ultimately...
I just think it's funny that the watch guy is close to Sauron. Watcher.
Oh,
Sauron.
gotcha.
Sorry, that was a dumb joke on my part.
Okay, there's, for lunch, there's typical Japanese noodle type places. There's more of a Thai spin on things.
I'm actually so hungry right now.
There's a seafood place, which is interesting considering there's not really like a river nearby, but there you have
got
it.
seafood.
Mm-hmm.
I want the noodles. That's my vote. Mallory?
That sounds good to me too.
I'm actually so hungry
Yeah,
for noodles. Yeah, I would like.
just like last session when
Yeah.
We all gotta stop this.
We're gonna stop.
It's like-
I need to eat more beforehand.
No, I feel that. So,
Okay.
I'll say for the 4 of you, 2 emblems.
2 emblems.
Mm-hmm. For a nice, delicious bowl of seasoned noodles and herbs with bits of pork and chicken and beef. It's wonderful.
Okay. Okay, sounds good.
A traditional Othnian dish. In this particular establishment, there are places where people can sit at the low tables where they have the little cushions and sit on their knees, on the backs of their heels. And then there's like bars and more different tables for people who are less inclined to find that appealing. But there you have spent an hour there enjoying a fine meal. The watchmaker is close enough that you don't have to get on a stagecoach to get there from the restaurant if you don't want to. And you come into the place, this watchmaker's place, and it has like a glass display window. It has some fine pocket watches. There is a wristwatch, but it is the most expensive item that they have on there, a clock that you can actually wear on your wrist. And you gather, as you're watching it tick, the cogs and the pieces required to make such a thing work. Very delicate, very precise. Makes sense that would be a bit more expensive than a pocket watch. But even in this display case, you see ones that are covered in brass, some that are covered in like a stainless steel, some that are more luxurious than others, different various watch face designs. And when you step inside, it's like every store kind of has that very subtle fragrance that just kind of permeates the space. The air smells very just clean and crisp, and it's very minimalist in furniture and design. There is another display case that kind of acts as a counter. And for the most part, it's really quiet. There's a couple other people in nice suits and dresses that are perusing as well. There's a very well-dressed person in a three-piece suit, almost like a concierge that is acting almost like a salesman would, is kind of opening display cases and allowing people to kind of hold and find what they want. The most fascinating thing about this whole store, Varys, that you pick up on, is that there is the slight ticking sound of all the different watches, but all of them are in sync with each other.
Oh.
It's like a chorus of clocks beating in synchrony.
I just take like a nice deep inhale. This is a nice store. I could take a nice bit of time just looking at all these watches.
You're only in the store for about 10 seconds before another half-elvish man in a similar three-piece suit, even has like the chain and the vest and the whole deal. Instead of a tie, it's a bow tie. Very clean and smartly dressed, with the hair kind of pulled back. Immediately approaches and says, "Hello and welcome to Saren's, finest watchmakers here in the city, in the province, and probably even in the Empire. We're humbled that you stepped into our shop, and please, if there's anything, a style or anything in particular that you're looking for."
Well, do you only sell watches here, or do you do any repairs on watches?
We are a full-service establishment here. If you have any sort of clock-making, timekeeping device, chances are we have people here who will be able to fix it and get it back to keeping time as it's supposed to.
Well, that is wonderful news to hear. And with that, I will reach in and I'll pull out my pocket watch.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys have seen me hold this pocket watch before, but I've never used it because it's broken. It's been broken for some time, but it's still kind of like a source of comfort for me, even though it doesn't work at the moment. So, yeah, and I'll pull it out, and it's a nice, it's about yay big pocket watch.
Mm-hmm.
So it fits kind of the palm of your hand there. Nice gold plating, kind of a crystalline looking cover to it, and it's got some markings in the back that are kind of etched out on the back of the pocket watch, and it's got a little loop where it's tied to kind of a leather strap that I can use to kind of hold on to it better.
This is a pocket watch that you took with you from Sigil,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, this is my pocket watch from Sigil. this pocket watch. You guys don't know this, but this pocket watch was a gift from my dad way back before I left Sigil, back when I was 10, and when I was finally beginning to be entrusted with kind of the family business. And as my dad said to me, it is important to be punctual, and to be punctual, you must know what time it is. And so he gave me a pocket watch when I began to kind of be a member of the family and to kind of start working with them. So
The half-elf concierge takes the watch with delicate hands, which you appreciate. This is obviously someone who knows the value of the merchandise that he works with, and he kind of goes over it with an inspective eye, and you can see the appreciation in such a piece. He says, "I've never." He kind of gives you another, like, looks up to you and says, I've never seen a watch of this style and make before. This is intriguing." And he looks at the markings on the back. What are the engravings? Are they in a language that he might understand?
No, that he wouldn't. I can't imagine he would understand them.
I imagine they're done in Gith.
It's in Gith,
Yeah.
because it's written in Gith.
Yeah, he's like, I've never. This is a beautiful piece of work. And it is a shame that it is no longer ticking. But by your leave, if you'd like to come back with me, I could inquire with one of our artificers and see if this is something that they'd be able to work on.
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
He kind of hands the watch back to you, as it is yours, and gives you the honor of entrusting it to an artificer that you can choose, basically. And to make a long story short, you go back into a room, and there are a bunch of kiosks, slanted desks, and other work tables. And you see probably 3 or 4 people back there with various sets of standing glasses and magnifying glasses that come over with tweezers and washing stations and things that are actively restoring and cleaning timekeeping devices, or perhaps even building them from scratch. And you find one of them that is familiar with more exotic pieces, and is able and says that that is something that he is able to do. Until he gets it open and kind of sees what the problem is, he can't really say for certain how long it'll take. He says, if you're on a rush, I can try to accelerate things a bit, put my other stuff to the side. I would say at the shortest time, 1.5 days, 2 days at the minimum.
Yes, I would like it back as quickly as possible, and I'm happy to pay a little bit more if it means doing so.
Of course. As this is an exotic piece, it's going to take some time to understand the layering and everything, but I could fit this at 60 emblems.
Okay, splendid. Would you like half now and half upon completion?
Whatever works best for you.
Let's do it then that way. Okay? I'll give you 30 now, and I'll pull out 30 emblems, and I will give you the rest when I come to pick it up.
Of course. And he takes it. He says, I'll get work on this right away. And he goes back. The concierge escorts you back out. The rest of you have been waiting for like 15 minutes or so, just kind of looking at the various clocks. And it's not only wristwatches, there are some like grandfather clocks too that are available for store. They cater to all sorts of, and it's very obvious, like a Rolex equivalent or like a Swiss watchmaker type, I
love it.
It's high end. Yeah.
Okay, and just for the DM's sake and for everyone's knowledge here, that was my spellcasting focus. So from here until I get it back, I am stuck using spells without material components unless I have those materials.
Unless you
So-
get the components.
Unless I get the components, which
Okay.
I do not know what components are because I have never had to use components before because
Oof.
that was my focus. So I am fully unaware of the fact that my spellcasting has just been cut.
That's brutal.
Okay.
I love it.
So
Well, I hope we don't, kick the bee's nest or, whatever the phrase is.
Cool.
Yep. So it is entirely
Hornet's nest,
possible.
right?
It is entirely possible that I can do nothing. We'll find out, I guess.
We'll find out.
Jeez.
Because that is such a cool thing to do, and you're playing to your character so well, take an inspiration point, Varys.
Thank you, thank you.
Sweet.
Excellent. Continuing on the road, if you want to keep an eye out, actually, maybe you might be able to find some sort of component store or something along the way. Actually, chances are the Ivory Hall might have something, provided that you're aware that you're needing them.
Yeah, I am currently not aware that I need them.
Excellent.
So
Okay, so you get to the Ivory Hall. The layout is pretty similar to the one in Najak. Pretty big. There's an open floor where there's a bunch of tables where people are just kind of lounging, enjoying small snacks and drinks. There's a bar, a similar jobs board, and armory supply that is available to members. And yeah, it's a pretty lax environment, low key at the moment.
Curious about the job board. Sorry, I keep turning the video off. I'm eating a snack. I'd probably wander over to the job board with an eye for any simple jobs that could be done within a couple hours for, if we have more downtime today or possibly tomorrow.
Yeah. There's actually a handful of jobs that are currently available. Most of them involve a hike outside the city. So you're not sure if that's something you could probably do within a day. Maybe. Depends on when you come back. But most of them deal with going up to either the North Ridge or the South Ridge, up above the city, and kind of hiking a ways in. Some of the pictures or descriptions that kind of catch your eye. Interestingly,
Mostly pictures. Let's be real.
there is a picture of a dragon.
Ooh.
It does say class.
I'm gonna try to sound out the words that are on that one.
It does say class 4 job on it. This is a higher ranking job that only higher, more established members of the guild are even able to take.
Are we still rank 1?
They're still technically rank 1.
Okay.
But some of the easier ones that you see, there's something that looks like a large skeletal snake.
Wow.
There's something that looks
that's
like
not really terrifying.
a large skeleton, but it's like a cow's skeleton. And it's just kind of like standing. These are the kind of pictures that you see. There's another one that looks almost alien in some ways. It has 4 legs, but each leg comes down to a very sharp point. And it has this long, nearly snake or worm-like head that comes out. And it just looks, not very nice looking by any means. And those ones that you all saw were class 1 jobs. There's class 2 jobs, which not eligible yet for, but one that just looks like a person wreathed in flame. And this other looks almost like a dragonborn would, but kind of hunched over, exaggerated features, spines that kind of come out the back. Yeah, there's a few options.
Yeah, I think the one that catches my attention the most is the one that looks like a person wreathed in flame.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try and sound that one out a bit. That's a level 2 job?
It's a level 2 job, class 2.
Okay. Do I remember how to raise in rank? It's just by turning in jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the one that looked like a dragon was a class 1?
No, that was class 4.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll grab the cow skeleton thing, and because that's what you do when you take a job, is you pull it down, right?
Yeah, you take it down to the front, and very Monster Hunter style.
I was gonna take it to the group first.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Just be like, hey guys, this looks interesting if we've got some time to kill.
Oh, we always have time to kill.
Hey.
So, Ignatz, who looked at the picture and thought, like, this might be good. The rest of you look at what the details of it entails. And this is a Minotaur skeleton, is the description. It's a job put out by some of the mining companies on the South Ridge. They've kind of run into an issue where they've burrowed into and mined into some long-forgotten cave and require assistance in rooting it out. It says, we think that there's one of these. We're not entirely sure, because as soon as we saw it, we got the heck out of there. And there's a disclaimer that may include other threats and problems that we were not able to assess. The reward for this job is 150 emblems upon completion.
And there's a number here at the bottom with 3 numbers. I think that means that's a lot of gold, a lot of emblems. So I thought it might be a good one. You know, if we're hanging out tomorrow waiting for your watch to get done.
Mm-hmm. And for the time limit, all it says is as soon as you can, kind of a thing. There's not like a fixed timeline. It's like you get the sense that this job is going to be available until someone completes it.
Right.
It's quick.
We don't have time for it today, probably.
Probably not today. Not if you want to meet Ryla.
Right.
And you do so want to
definitely not today.
Okay. Well, any jobs that you want to take on?
Well, I don't know if we have any. I don't know if we have enough time today to take anything specific. You know, because we got plans this evening. But man, I'll just any of these with the little 1 on them, I think are ones we're allowed to do.
Right. Because we're still just entry level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
They don't know how awesome we are yet. We gotta do a bunch of jobs to show them.
Right. Got to prove that. All right. Well, was there anything else that you wanted to come here for, Mallory? Did you need anything from the hall?
I'm okay right now.
I glance over at the armory. Can I just see some of the wares hanging up?
Yeah, and it's pretty much everything that you have in the PHB. There's arrows, crossbows.
Yep. I don't see any glowing swords with a really big price tag next to it.
No.
Okay. I'm good.
Okay. Well, how about we look and see if they've got any new potions here? just see what they have.
Oh, you know
have
what?
offered.
I've been wanting to buy a glaive.
Hmm.
Let me just check.
Okay, while he's doing that, I'm going to kind of make my way over to the potions aisle and see what we've got in the realm of potions for sale.
Yeah. Let me also see. Let me find my notes on the page. Do. Yeah. Okay. They've got they have technically up to supreme health potions, but
Okay.
those are pretty rare and quite pricey.
Quite pricey, I imagine. Yeah.
And they have varying amounts of the different resistances,
Okay.
and
Now,
that's pretty much it.
What resistances do they have on hand?
Well, given that you're in the chapter that's in the city, there's at least one of everything.
Okay. Okay. Because I'm pretty sure.
Tell me which ones you want, and I'll roll to see how many there are.
I'm pretty sure we're out of poison resistance, but that might be a good one to have. So I want to see if they got any poison resistance.
Okay. For poison resistance, there are 6 of those on hand.
Okay, and how much is each one?
150 emblems each.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and grab 4 of those then.
Okay.
So 150.
600 emblems.
4, so 600. Okay, cool. That is gonna take a pretty good chunk out of our reserve. So we're gonna have to earn some more emblems pretty soon here.
But your benefits as being a member is these are slightly discounted.
That's true. I was gonna say that I will take that, and we will probably need the potions of poison resistance more than we need the gold.
Call back to the very first few sessions when Aruda made that choice. You can take the gold or you can take the antidote.
Yep. Okay. And I would rather have the potions. Potions of poison resistance.
Do you want any health potions?
We still have quite a few of those.
Okay.
We have 7 regular potions of healing. We have a potion of greater healing as well.
Cool.
And then you guys should all have various amounts.
I've got
of
one
that.
potion.
You have 1 potion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. Alright. Cool. Yeah, so we got 4 of those. How do I change the amount of potions in the thing?
If you double click the item, I think there's a quantity.
Yeah,
There
so
should be, yeah.
I changed it to 4, but then it won't change in the actual item itself.
Did you say that you only have 1, Jared?
1 potion? Yeah.
Healing potion?
Mm-hmm.
I have 3. Do you want one of mine? So we both have 2.
Sure.
Okay.
They're just basic potions of healing, right?
Yeah.
How many did you buy?
I bought 4.
So you should have
Potions.
8 total then? Oh no, that's
What?
your fire resistance. I'm not adding.
Yeah, we
of
have
those.
4 fire resistance, and we've got 4 poison resistance.
Okay.
So
It says you have 7 potions of healing.
yeah, we've got 7 potions of healing.
Yeah.
But how did I change the charges rather than the quantity?
Oh, that is an excellent question. Well, as long as you know and you're able to keep track of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, whatever. I'll just leave it as that. That's
Cool.
fine. Oh wait, I think I found it. Aha! I found out how to do it.
Also, I changed my mind for weapons.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
I would be happy to trade in my pike for a glaive,
Okay.
but they do basically the same thing, and the glaive is just more expensive.
Gotcha.
So, instead, and I'm gonna need Varys's accounting help with this. Instead, I want to buy a maul, a two-handed maul. It's like a big old bludgeoning weapon.
Yeah. You can do so.
I guess Warhammer is like its own thing, right? Oh, that's not as heavy. Okay. So, on here, the maul is 10 gold. Or 10 emblems.
Yep.
So,
An
Varys,
emblem.
if you're willing to buy that for me, I would be elated.
10 emblems.
Okay. And I'll just put that in my inventory then.
Okay.
I watched that money get deducted from your inventory in real time.
He can see everything.
You can see it all.
But can he see why kids love Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Okay. Cool. Cool.
Oh, hang on. Does the maul have reach?
I doubt it.
You know
It
what
doesn't.
I just realized? We still have a pistol that we haven't done anything with. I wonder if we could do anything with that.
Yeah. It's helpful
It's
to go
only-
through your inventory every once in a
Every
while.
once in a while. Yeah, just be like, oh hey, I totally forgot I had this stuff. I wonder if we could find anyone that knows how a pistol works. Probably in a big city. I feel like we'd probably be able to do that.
You've met a few. You just have to...
Yeah.
If you could
Just have
find
to go back
Coda
and
somehow. Who knows
I
where...
feel like we should go back to the artificers, that artificer inventor place. They might know what to do.
Oh,
with
yeah.
this.
Maybe.
Because could you imagine having a pistol on our team? Doing great.
You imagine, like, I get out there and I, like, pull out my sword and shield and I do, like, a fancy flourish with my scimitar, and then Varys just pulls out a gun and shoots him.
It's like that scene from
Yep.
Indiana Jones.
Exactly.
Exactly. Except we're on the same team.
Gets
That's good.
distracted, gets shot. Okay. Well, honestly, that might be worth looking into. Just as kind of like a backup, get out of jail weapon. Especially for Mallory.
Ooh.
What? Yeah. Or me, because I don't have any weapon fighting skills. But I can point and pull the trigger.
Okay. You guys want to know how many weapons I have now?
How many weapons
Yes.
do you have?
11.
Nice.
Yep. I'm the Swiss Army knife.
Nice.
Oh, 12. I almost forgot the Frostbrand Rapier. Can't forget that.
Yeah, the only reason that you guys have that bag of holding is because I happened to freaking roll it on the very first dungeon you guys did.
It's freaking great.
And also, just for mental image, I carry most of these on me,
You're like
so I can
Link.
switch them out. I am like Link. Yeah, I just got like stuff strapped on everywhere.
That's awesome.
And you're only at your first inventory increment, so you're fine.
I mean, I haven't been adding stuff to the Foundry version of myself. I use D&D
Oh.
Beyond, but you know, I'm still not over encumbered.
Yeah. The perks of high strength.
Perks of high strength. Gotta love it. Okay. Well, I think that's pretty much good for us there.
Yeah, I'm carrying like 200 pounds of equipment.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, it's awesome. I'm looking at it. It says weight carried 238, unencumbered. I'm like, sweet. Let's go.
Amazing.
Must be nice.
You know, I think for most of his life, when Ignatz was walking around with just his guard armor and like 1 or 2 weapons and a shield, people are like, that's a strapping young lad. But now that he's carrying like obviously heavy equipment everywhere without breaking a sweat, people see him and probably are like, something's going on with this guy.
Yeah. That can't be. He can't be sustained by normal things, carrying all that
It's like,
time.
That's so
I
weird.
wonder what his legs look like under that armor. He must be like shredded.
It's that giant heritage coming in.
That's right. Got that sleeper build.
Okay. Well, anyone else want to do anything here in the guild hall?
I think I'm okay.
You good?
Yeah. We were gonna check out the... We could just leave the Minotaur skeleton thing here and come back for it if we have time. Or we could check it out now.
You can check it out now. If you take it out now, you claim it. Then you're under obligation of doing it. If you leave it,
Right.
there's a chance that some other crew might pick it up. But
And what
I
time
think
is
leaving
it?
it is
Yeah.
probably
So what time is
best.
it?
there's not really a clock inside the guild hall, but there are some windows. You look outside and you can see the sun is getting late, getting low in the sky.
Okay.
Hey, yeah, let's leave this here for now. We gotta go. We gotta catch up with Ryla. We don't want to keep her waiting.
Right. Well, she did say tonight, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So we have a little bit of time before this evening.
But
So
the sun's going down.
it's just getting low. We still probably have another hour or so.
Ilea says, "Do you know where she is?"
Yeah, I've got her address right here.
Ilea looks at it and says, "Okay, an address is one thing, but do we know where it is?"
That's a good point. I'm gonna pull it out and I'm gonna read the address.
Okay. You
What
find-
what do addresses look like here?
Pretty similar. There's a. Looks like there's. So the first line. There's a. It looks like. What did I decide the name of her thing was? It was. Rim Heights, I think, was the. It's the name of the apartment building. And then there's a. It says Rim Heights Apartment 36, or like number 36. Underneath it, there's a number, which is probably a building number, and then a street name, and that's all she wrote.
Okay. Well, you know what? Let's go to the reception area for a second. I'm just gonna see if they can point us in the right direction.
Okay, it's less a
with
reception
that-
desk and more just a bar.
Bar. Okay.
And there is currently a half elf behind it that's just kind of, sitting on a stool, kind of nursing his own little drink. Dark hair that's long and straight. Looks a bit more on the elvish side than the human side, in all honesty. And he's just kind of propped up, leaning against, and as you approach, he says, "Still a little early for day drinking."
That's awesome.
No, we're not here for drinks. I was just wondering if you happen to know this street or the general area of these apartment buildings.
He takes it and says, okay. I'm not terribly certain, but I think that's actually a bit more on the if you go back down the channel southward, I would say probably a few blocks, not too far. You don't want to get quite to the business to the food places yet. And then turn right. Go on the north side of the channel. And I think it shouldn't be too hard to find a place called Rimwatch. That's what I said, right? Rimwatch.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Rim Heights?
Rim Heights. Yeah. I think what I decided originally was Rimwatch Heights or Rimwatcher Heights or something. Anyway.
Okay.
Should be able to find that, and at the very least, should be able to find someone in that area who's seen it. But that's where I'd start.
Okay. Well, thank you. And with that, I'll kind of be like, okay, well, I guess that's we have our heading.
Yep. It's a good thing you asked, because it'll probably take you an hour to get back into that area of the city.
Okay. An hour by foot.
So we're going now?
Yep,
Well,
I guess we're going now.
It'd be an hour
Let's go.
on taking the stagecoach bus.
Oh, it'd be an hour taking the stagecoach bus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At least to get to the... Because the buses only go along the channel, then you have to hoof it on foot the rest of the way.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, well, we'll take the stagecoach bus then to get us at least mostly there, so we don't have to take multiple hours.
Yep. So mark off another 4 silver.
Are you paying in coppers again?
He is, because he has no silver pieces in his...
I have no silver pieces.
If you start
Inventory.
counting out copper pieces again, I'll just kind of nudge my way in front of you and I'll be like, no, I got this. And I'll hold out 10 silver.
Okay.
Hey,
It's in
hold
my fist.
up. Hey. Once he does that, I'm going to be like, wait. And I'll just pull out 4 from the 10, and I'll be like, okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A
Okay,
little
so-
much. It's okay.
okay.
It's
So
all right.
I'll pay 4 silver.
And you hop on, you get on the bus, on the stagecoach bus. There's some kids on it that are apparently coming home from a day trip into the city. And as they start going, one of them like laughs, and the other one start laughing. Look behind him. One of the horses has left some horse apples on the road.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Which is a normal enough thing happening in the city. Doesn't take very long for some of the other teenage age boys to come in and clean that up right quick. But you get back down, find a stop in the area of where the watchmaker was. The watchmaker on the other side of the street now, as you guys are on the northern side of the channel, which is the side that you need to be on. Disembark and find one of the cross streets and begin looking for this apartment building. Who's leading?
Do we have to search for it?
Who's leading the search for this?
Lori.
Honestly, I'm probably running out ahead just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Not like super far, maybe like 10, 15 feet. I'm mostly just like looking up at the windows
Yeah.
and like
And-
following my heart.
There you go. You go about a block in, and there are still some businesses, it looks like, but they're not as tall. And they seem to give way to the style where the ground floor is a business and the top floor are apartment buildings, like above it. And it gets less busy, the streets. There's still people that are out, kind of walking. An occasional horse rider. But the traffic is like nothing compared to the channel. So Ignaz, if you're leading, make a perception check.
You got it. You got a 16.
16.
Sorry, my heart got a 16.
Okay. Yes. And it is with that zeal, that anticipation, and anxiety that you move out ahead. And it only takes about another 30 minutes or so. You get into a part where it's actually looking like apartment buildings. And you could probably keep taking this road all the way down to the canyon wall, which is still probably a half mile away from your current spot. There's still plenty of buildings that rise high above. And eventually, as you come up to another cross street, you look to your left and you see just a kind of a red brick building, 5-6 stories tall. It is just a straight apartment building. There does not appear to be a business at the bottom of this one, but kind of at the top in kind of block letter, it says Rimwatcher Heights.
Hey, there it is. I'll wave the others over.
Oh. All right.
Let's go. Come on. I start
Okay.
marching towards it.
I'm gonna look at Mallory and say, "Someone's a little eager." Mallory.
Yep.
She's busy choking on something.
I'm so sorry. I'm like trying to pack up stuff to take over to the apartment and pay attention to this, so.
It's all good.
You're all good. You're just missing Ignatz being a goober.
No, I'm hearing it.
Okay, good.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't miss that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping this is entertaining for you guys because I'm having fun.
So as you get to the building, there's not like an obvious entrance to the ground floor, but you do see that there are stairs that kind of go up off to the side. It's more like almost like some of those outdoor motel type complexes where you step into your hallway from the outside on the floor that you're going into, and then there's probably a few different rooms on the inside from that point. So you're gonna have to pick a floor.
Is there a number on the address that she gave us?
I was gonna say, yeah, wasn't there a number on there?
There was a number 36.
36. Okay,
I don't think this thing has 36 floors.
it's probably room 36.
Do we think it goes by
So
three?
probably floor 3, room 6, or depending on how they do things here, it could just
Or it
be
might just be
room
on the
36.
third floor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or it could just be on the third
Are we,
floor.
are we thinking it's like by 10, so like the first floor is all the 10s, the second floor is all the 10s?
Yeah.
I start going up the stairs.
Ignatz
Wait.
begins marching up the staircase.
I'm looking for a number that matches the number I was shown.
You see, as you go up, you go up one flight of stairs. You see a number 2 above the door, 2F.
Okay.
Numbers
Yeah.
and letters together? Now that's weird. Hey guys, we're looking for something that starts with a 3, right?
Yeah, so probably on the third floor. Probably got to go up
Yeah.
one more.
That comes after 2. I know that
Yeah.
one. I'll keep going.
You go up another flight of stairs, and this one on the door does say 3F.
Okay. And I look around, are there other doors on this floor?
It's just this one door that you see
Okay.
in front of you currently.
I turn to the others, not sure what to do. That letter's that's not a 6, right?
No.
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 Okay. So
So just
I don't know what to do now.
just go through the door. Just walk onto the
Should
floor.
we knock first?
No, this is just opening up to the floor. There's a lot of yeah. So this is the third floor.
Okay. All
So
right.
just-
Yeah.
just go on.
Okay. I think I've been in buildings like this before, so I try the knob.
Yeah, it's loose. It's unlocked.
I'll pop the door open a little bit.
You open it, and it
Is it a
opens
hallway?
up into a hallway. Yes.
Okay. Okay. With renewed confidence, I stride through the doorway,
Okay.
go down the hallway looking
You
for
march again.
a 3 followed by a 6.
You see 3-1 on the first door. You see on the other side
Okay.
3-2,
Mm-hmm.
3-3,
Uh-huh.
3-4, and then the hallway turns to the left.
Uh-oh. I keep going.
You keep going, and you see 3-5.
Okay. I think that's... Okay, we didn't miss it, right? I turn around, look behind me. I didn't miss any doors.
No.
Okay, I keep going.
You see 3-6.
Hey!
I'm just following behind.
I look
very
very
quiet.
proud of myself. I found it!
Okay.
Right. Well done. Yeah.
I give
You're
a
real,
jaunty knock on the door.
You knock, and immediately you hear. It sounds like there's a
I
small.
can't hear you through the...
Oh, there's a small dog apparently that has begun barking
fun.
immediately as you knock. and you
Classic.
you could hear Ryla's voice behind, trying to shush the dog quiet. Eventually, you hear
I kind of like smooth my hair back a little bit.
you hear a chain slide out, and the door clunk unbolt. She opens the door and says, "Oh, there you are. You found it. Come on in."
Yeah, it wasn't so hard.
And she kind of does like the flourish and the gesture to step inside. Immediately, there's this white Shih Tzu that is like around your feet and kind of like its tail like wagging, and it is immediately all over to you. And she's trying to like kick it off with her foot.
I
But
crouched down right there in the doorway, like blocking traffic, and I just like try and pet the dog. Hi there.
make an
What's
animal
your name?
handling check and do it with advantage because it's a dog that loves humans.
Right. I am not a
Fair.
human.
Well,
Does that
you know
make
what
a
I
difference?
mean. No, it does not make a difference.
Okay. Okay.
That'd be
I got
funny
a
if it
14.
did.
That's a 14.
Okay. The dog is loving scritches and pleased to have new company, and seems to enjoy it. She's still kind of holding that same pose and like, all right, Vespa, that's enough. Come on, get. And she kind of like kicks the dog away. No, you're fine. You're fine. It's just let's get your friends in the doorway if you.
Yeah. Come on, guys. Come on. Quit dallying. I'll go inside.
Yeah, and you see, Ryla's wearing the same outfit that she was wearing before, except she doesn't have the leather coat on, and there's no feather in her ear either. But other than that, it's pretty much the same outfit. You step inside into what it's a studio apartment, basically. It's small and cozy. It looks like there's maybe 2 rooms and a living space / kitchen area, but it looks like she's done, put some effort into making it feel homey and cozy. There's a nice rug carpet that's kind of in the living room space. A small table, a little kitchenette area with a small little wood stove that connects to a chimney somewhere. There's some shelves and like pictures and various different like small like plants that are kind of hanging. The wall directly opposite the door has a few windows that just open out over the cityscape. She's high enough that it's not just staring at another window across an alleyway. And there's a small like couch area, not a lot of lounging space. So there's, apart from the couch and the table, but there's a few seats. It says, "Come on in, make yourselves at home." And as you guys filter in, she closes the door behind. And then on the other wall of the living space that kind of leads into a hallway where a couple of rooms are, you see framed different articles, it looks like. Some that apparently she's written and got published and is very proud and pleased of them. There's one that's really big that's kind of in the middle that seems to be a crowning achievement. And the headline says something along the lines of bringing lifelike sculptures to life. And you kind of read the subtext of the headline. And as she sees you kind of eyeing this and like, "Oh, that one was a good one." There was a couple years ago, there was the up-and-coming artist, sculptor of some kind down south, who was earning a reputation for his lifelike sculptures. Turns out he was slowly petrifying real-life people and selling them as statues, and I was the one that figured that out and got that published. It's one of my one of the ones I'm more proud of. And you look at the other articles, and they're all along similar lines, where investigative articles on supernatural things. It doesn't quite come off as like National Enquirer or tabloid trash. Some people might interpret it as that, but it is not your typical kind of news that she is writing about.
Gotcha. I don't pick up on almost any of this. This is great. Wow. You wrote all of this?
Yeah, I did. I didn't pick the headline, unfortunately. That's what the editors do. That I would have made it a little sounding cooler than that, but well, you can only do so much, I suppose.
It looks like you've done a lot.
Trying.
This is very impressive.
Thank you. Sorry. Find a seat somewhere. Do you want tea or anything?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Sure. So you guys take your seats. The dog, which she called Vesper, is once again kind of climbing all over you, and she puts on a.
You know, I have a
kettle.
sister named Esper.
From the little kitchenette, she says, "What's that? Vesper? Huh?
Yeah. You said your dog's name is Vesper?
Yeah, that's what
That's
I called her.
That's very similar. Where did you pick that name from?
I just was reading one of my books when I was studying, and I just thought it sounded cool.
Wow. It's a nice name.
Glad you
And
like it.
Ignatz continues to make like embarrassingly small talk comments like this.
Right.
But I won't keep it up too much for the sake of time.
You're fine. Those of you who are listening, it's really apparent what Ignatz is doing. And you also pick up that she's kind of aware that it's happening too, but there's no change in like her mannerisms or everything. She's very even-keeled and level-headed about this whole thing. Eventually, a few minutes later, she comes back with a set of tea, and she kind of sits down. Were you sitting on the couch, Ignatz, or at the table?
At the table, I think,
Okay.
because she was making tea.
Okay, yeah. So she sits
Or
it
just
down.
wherever she pointed me at.
Yeah, she kind of gestured. There's table or
Okay.
couch. But she sits down at the couch, and there's a small like coffee table as well for the rest of you. It says, "So since you're here, I seems that you're interested in helping me disentangle this doppelganger case, which I'm very happy about. I guess where do you want to start? What do you want to know? Do you want to like negotiate beforehand, or I don't know how you operate."
Well, as far as negotiations, our price is pretty straightforward. Alright. Whatever you can offer in gold, and then we want information put out about a certain person.
Right. You talked about
Right.
this paper. I can write it based on what you have. Might have to spin some things. I can't guarantee that it'll get into the paper. We'll have to see. Do some.
That is what we need.
Okay.
We need it to get into the paper and published.
Okay. I
I have a,
can promise that I will do my best, and will do my best to write it in such a way that the editors can't pass it up. How about I can spare 20 emblems for the four of you to help. That's maybe I can go a little bit higher than that, but that's cutting it a little bit into. But I think it might help. And she kind of gets up from the couch, goes into a room, comes back a little bit later holding 25 square golden emblem tokens.
and
Yeah.
while she's gone, I lean over to Varys, and the others conspiratorially. We gotta help her, right? We're gonna take the job. Right.
Well, I don't know if we'll be able to. We'll do our best, right? But we also can't stay here for weeks or months to finish a job.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I know. We're just passing through, but like we gotta help when and where we can, right? And this seems important.
She comes
This
back out of the
seems
hall
good job, right?
at this point and moves over. Kind of notes that there was conversation happening, but doesn't pry. Puts the stack of gold on the table. He says, "Well, if you want to take this instead of, I can give you this and not guarantee. I can give you this and do my hardest to get your paper into the Vanguard. Is that an acceptable outcome?"
I would say
One thing to remind us of, just over the table, is I think last session we'd established that there are already wanted posters for Nikolai, like distributed throughout the Empire, especially among the Palisade. So it's not like nobody knows about him yet.
Yeah.
yeah.
What
so,
you saw,
Give it to them.
he was more as like a person of interest. The
I see.
true, it was like
I want to turn him into a public threat.
right.
I see.
Yeah, because when Varys gave the description, it was like, hey, this might be a person of interest related to this missing Rokai dude or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
But he did not elaborate as to the true extent or skill or nefariousness of Nikolai.
I see.
But if we can turn him into kind of a public threat and get more of like the common person worried about him, that's way more eyes than even just the Palisade.
Yeah, but then, I mean, if Ryla here writes up a paper about him and gets it published with her name on it, then wouldn't that put her on his list?
Only if she puts her name on it.
I guess that's true. Can you publish something without your name on it?
Why wouldn't you be able to?
I could. And then she kind of squints a little bit and says, This information that you have, I'm getting the vibe that it's a little more sensitive?"
He's a bad guy.
Uh-huh.
He's pretty scary and dangerous.
Like I told you earlier, he's a threat to the Empire.
Okay.
And of course, right, there comes within, like with exposing anything, there's risk involved. But
well, we don't want to put Ryla at risk.
she wouldn't be in the journalist industry if she didn't understand risk of putting out dangerous pieces.
I mean, he does have a good point.
There's also no reason to fret that he would concern himself with a mere journalist.
Well, I don't know. I would go so far to say that, but
I mean no disrespect, just to say that I don't think he would waste his time trying to kill someone who has already written a piece.
okay. So here's the deal. If it is sensitive, I'm writing my article about the doppelgangers. I'm putting my name on that, and nobody's gonna tell me otherwise. But for this other paper, as part of our transaction here, you just kind of want that word out into the public.
Yep, along with the image of him.
Yeah.
And information regarding the threat that he poses, and perhaps even a little bit of flurry about how he might be tied to the rebel cells.
You know, I think it's about time I came up with a pseudonym anyway.
There you go.
A what?
She slides the coins over the table to you.
And I will pick them up.
And she did give like a slight glance toward Ignatz when he asked the question, but declined to offer further exposition.
Fine.
Okay, so now that that's all settled, I've got some notes on what I've discovered so far. And she goes back on one of the chairs where her coat is. She rummages in it, pulls out her notebook, plops it on the table. It says, so I've been doing some research on doppelgangers. And what you said, obviously, they can take the form of someone that they've seen. They tend to... Obviously, it's really difficult to find out if you've been infiltrated by a doppelganger. That's kind of the whole point of them, right?
Right. Well, that's why we're meaning to ask you if remember the password that we talked about earlier. If you could give us the password.
The password.
Yes, you remember the password.
Did you actually give her a password, or this is the thing
No.
where you... Okay, she thinks for a minute, and she says... Mint green herb bagels. I think that's a good password.
That wasn't the password that we gave you earlier.
I don't think you gave me a password.
Can I roll insight?
You can roll an insight check.
Okay. Okay. 23.
Yeah, she doesn't think that you gave her a password.
Okay.
Okay.
I think she's good. That checks out.
Okay. Well, we were just curious.
No, actually,
Just
that's
had to
you bring up a good point. The password thing probably is not going to work anyway, because here's the thing: doppelgangers, from what I read, and she kind of flips over to a page, and she flips it over, and there's a sketch of a humanoid creature that is kind of featureless. It just kind of looks like muscle, like dark muscle. Like those diagrams where the skin is removed, but it not as grotesque. Just kind of this hairless, muscled body, pale, pupilless eyes, and she taps the page. Apparently, this is what they look like when they're not changing shape, but they can actually read the surface thoughts of people that they see. And this is how they are able to kind of glean some information like your name, where you're going, and they're really patient. They like to go in on the long con, as they say. They'll take the form of somebody else and follow around their prey, try to learn as much as they can about this person, and try to replace them if they can, or use them to get to someone else. There's a whole variety of things that they do, and so unfortunately the password, like, if you ask a doppelganger for a password, they can read your thoughts, and try as you might, you're going to be thinking what the password is, and the doppelganger is going to pick up on it, and he's going to be able to tell you what the password is.
Okay.
So what
Well,
about
that's not good.
What about specific abilities? Do they possess any magical abilities? Can they copy the abilities of the person that
No,
they?
apart from taking the form of someone that they've seen, that's pretty much it. Just because they look like a person doesn't mean that they behave like a person and automatically know everything about that person. So that's why they tend to spend a lot of time following the person before actually engaging with them. They try to get as much information as they can to make their eventual con that much more persuasive. But I was thinking that I think we might be able to use this mind reading thing to our advantage. I think that if we go out to a place where we think the doppelgangers might be, kind of put ourselves out there, so to speak, and try to make ourselves attractive targets somehow. And so they can pick up on our thoughts and read our thoughts. And we're all thinking something random, like lavender puppies. And we just think about like how we just love lavender puppies so much. And then if one of the doppelgangers decides to single us out, and they start coming to us and mentioning offhand about how much they also love lavender puppies, then that's how we go. That's how we know that person's a doppelganger. And then we, I don't know, arrest them or something? I don't really haven't gotten that far. Yeah, we get them.
Yeah.
But, surely, if there's more than one, they're not gonna all approach us. Or if there's only one walking around such a large city just thinking thoughts, might not be enough.
That's true. From what I know, they don't really tend to be solo workers. I guess there are, but I feel like in a city this big, where there's so many more people, there's so many more opportunities, that it would take more than one doppelganger to pull off some of these more elaborate hoaxes that they pulled off before. And she kind of flips through and pulls out some notes that she's taken on previous known cons to have been executed by doppelgangers, and some of them are quite elaborate. Some that have taken like a decade or more from start to finish to pull off. And so these are patient creatures, and they know what they're good at, and they lean very heavily into it. And they do these cons for any sort of things. It's to get money, to get lucre. She mentions that they're also kind of lazy sometimes, which is kind of a paradox when it comes to raising their own children. It's an unfortunate thing where they will take the form of a very strapping and attractive, handsome man and will seduce women and kind of leave them to raise their children. And the child doesn't know that it's a doppelganger until it reaches adolescence, and then it goes out and seeks its own kind. But yeah, they're not nice creatures by any means.
Sounds like it. So the doppelgangers, the ones that you have heard about or suspect, you were telling us that they may have attacked some palisade guards and framed one of the other guards?
Almost. So this happened, she flips to another page. This happened about a week ago. There was there was a double homicide, and the way things kind of shook out made me suspicious, and I feel like this the accused actually might have a point to what he's saying, because just from my preliminary investigations, some of that story doesn't track. The circle doesn't square, or however they say it, and it just, the patterns fit too good to me. The patterns of the doppelgangers fit too well for me to ignore it, and I just I need to figure it out if my hunch is correct, or if I'm just wasting my and your time. I just need to know.
Well, it sounds like what we need then. We need a really good hoax.
A hoax. To hoax the hoaxers.
The hoaxes. Mallory, is there anything really devious?
That always works.
Mallory, is there any really devious job that you've wanted to do? Any particularly illegal, difficult heist you've wanted to pull off?
Extra legal.
As illegal as I can come up with?
As illegal as you can come up with.
No, I think what Ryla is trying to say is not illegal, but perhaps outside the law.
Yeah.
I mean, feel like I know this town super well, but I could walk around and come up with something, I'm sure.
Well, here's a question. What would doppelgangers possibly hope to gain from killing 2 palisade and framing another?
That's why I'm curious.
What might they be after?
It's actually, the Palisade weren't the ones that were killed. It was just some random guy who was captured, and he was accused of murdering his flatmates. And it was the
Oh.
Palisade that arrested him and didn't believe his story.
I see. Okay.
But that's a good point. I think we could learn a lot if we knew a little bit more about the circumstances of his murder. So I was thinking maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to try to get our hands on a copy of that Palisade report. See what's in there.
I have the in with the palisade. I could ask to see it. Yeah.
That'd be good.
I mean, I don't know if they showed it to me, but I could always ask.
Well, I already get a discount from my affiliation with the Vanguard, but it couldn't help to have you come along.
Yeah. I'd be happy to go with you.
I wiggle my eyebrows at Zig.
Zig
When she's not
pretends not to notice.
Amazing. Okay, so that's something that we can do. And I think once we have that, we can see what's in there. I know where the murders happened. We can go see if we can't find anything where that happens, because the Palisade, they wrapped up their investigation days ago at this point. As far as they're concerned, that this is an open and shut thing, so I don't anticipate that there would be too much resistance in getting in there. And then she kind of like doesn't move her head, but her eyes dart toward Mallory, and she raises one eyebrow.
I just nod.
All right. Any other
What's happening?
thoughts?
No, I guess we start with that.
One thought. If a doppelganger does take over one of us,
Mm-hmm.
and we do find out, do you know what doppelgangers usually do to the person they copy?
Well, it depends. For the most part of the con, they just kind of assume the form to learn as much as they can about whoever it is that they're trying to copy and imitate. Generally, it's like they pretend to be somebody else while they learn about their target,
Mm-hmm.
so they can get close and blend in, as they say. But then after that, it depends on the con. Generally, it might be killing them, removing them, or otherwise keeping them outside of, or keeping them inside, away from public eyes. Because how embarrassing would it be to be walking as a doppelganger pretending to be somebody else, and then you see that same person just like walk out of the street and do the make eye
It's
contact?
like, oh my gosh, we can't both be wearing this.
Right.
That's so embarrassing.
It's like,
Yeah,
somebody knows something's up.
someone has to go change.
Right.
Yeah.
So they don't want that to happen by any means.
Right. If any one of us does become a doppelganger or gets replaced by a doppelganger, I say that we all come to agreement now that we will, by any means necessary, try to wean the location where they might be hiding us, and if they killed one of us, then I think retribution would be in order.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Okay?
Say a quick question. Can doppelgangers do this? And I just produce flame in my hand.
As far as I know, I don't think so. They're more of the bash and grab type.
Okay. Okay. So if I split off and you need to verify me, I'll just do this again, I guess.
Yeah, actually, I think that works. 'Cause I don't think they can copy talent like that, so that'll be a good thing to know.
Great. And Ilea, like,
Ilea
glows
can
or
heal.
something, right?
Right. She does like a light cantrip or something.
That too.
And Mallory, you what can you do? You shoot good. Oh.
Yep, I do that.
No, I know what it is. You have your little special dagger there. They can copy your
yeah.
appearance, but they can't copy your equipment.
Unless they take it.
Unless they
Unless they
take
take
it. Generally, equipment's not a guarantee, unfortunately.
I think Mel and I go way back. If they can only copy the surface thoughts, I think I could probably suss out whether it's her or not.
Probably.
Or what? Well, plus, if they're not really good at shooting something with a bow and arrow, I think that we've got it.
That's fair. Mel never misses.
No,
Very-
never.
Very rarely do I miss.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I think that we're all in agreement then.
And Varys can send messages with his brain. So
Oh,
I'm just gonna kind of look at you like, bruh.
What?
that could be helpful.
Okay. Well, as long as we all know, and you, what do you have any magic or abilities or something like that?
She thinks for a minute. That's the other thing I forgot to do was actually put her character sheet together. But let me do something real quick.
she's like, I can transform to perfectly copy other people's appearances, and I can read surface thoughts. Oh wait, that's everything doppelgangers can do. Never mind.
I mean, I can't do any of that. I don't know what you're
That's
talking
true.
about.
Okay. She does. Oh, that actually works out perfectly well. I want to see the details of this spell. Okay. She thinks for a minute, and she looks around. Like, well, there's a couple things I can do. She snaps her fingers, and there's a few candles on the table, and they just immediately light. Well, I guess that means I'd have to carry a candle with me.
Can you put him out too?
Snaps her fingers, and it snuffs out.
Then I produce flame. Huh?
I don't think so. She
Doesn't work like
snaps,
that?
and nothing happens.
Okay. Oh, well, worth a shot.
How about this? Similar to you, and she snaps her fingers again, and you see like sparks just kind of come out from it. So that's probably easier to do, huh?
Yeah, that's great.
Great. Now that that's established, she looks around at the four of you.
Sounds like our lead is at the palisade. Right?
It does.
Sure. She does like some mental math. So I think if you're gonna get the police report, actually, it's something that I should have thought of earlier when we were in the area. It's gonna be all the way back in the court area. We can do that first. It's a little bit of a walk. But the crime scene, if we want to hit that first, that's closer.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's up to
Yeah,
you.
do you think our adventurers badges will get us in there?
Well, let's see. She kind of goes over to the window, looks out the side, see how dark it is. Well, on the other hand, and then she turns back to Mallory. if you want more darkness, the better, then I suppose we can hit the police report first. It'll just be kind of a roundabout way to get to where we need to eventually.
I don't understand. More darkness, the better?
Well, if we're gonna be getting inside this apartment, probably don't want to be seen by anybody.
I see. Okay. So, gotcha. I kind of like look back at Mel with like I think I know where she's going with this.
I know what's going on.
So,
Well, should we let's head to the precinct first then. To the Palisade precinct first.
excellent.
We'll take that on first. Okay.
Let's do that.
Okay.
She gets up and she grabs her coat and slides it on, puts her notebook away, puts the quill back behind her ear. She goes over and picks up Vesper, her dog, off of your lap, Ignatz. Puts her on the ground, makes sure that there's enough water and some leftover food in the bowl. All right then. Night's still young, and leads you out of the apartment. She locks up behind, and with that, you embark once again to the central part of Fendai Shalot with a new compatriot in tow, Ryla, embarking on this investigation into the doppelgangers. And as you make your way over there, we're going to end scene and pick up there with our next session.
Woohoo!